Right. Good evening. Let me know if there are any questions. Can Saturn and Aquarius in fourth house retrograde, Mars in 10th house, can this uh, combination give heart attack? Okay, fine. In matters of heart attack, all I can say is stress. Okay, it largely depends on the mind of person, how much he takes the stress. Okay, so when Saturn Mars combination is there, Saturn Mars combination is there in like 4th 10th axis, there can be lots of stress at home, at work. Now it depends upon the person how well he is equipped internally to deal with that stress, and that will decide whether he will have any health issue or not. Okay, I don't think that just because few planets are sitting here and there, the person is going to have some health issues. If he is like, let's understand it like this: if a person is like proactive, okay, he is proactive, he deals in the stressful moments in a different way, in a calm way, then there is no chance of having any health issue like this. Okay, likewise, like even if there are planetary placements for let's say cancer, okay, but if that person is very proactive in his diet, in his daily work routine and all, and he is very health conscious, then he can avoid that situation of getting into health issues like that. So it largely depends upon the person whose chart it is, and how he is dealing with the particular issue. What do you say about twin flame, or what they say a deep spiritual connection? What are the indications that you have deep spiritual connection with someone? The twin flame or twin soul, there is if you realistically see, there is nothing like that. People are not aware of their own soul. I am not aware of my own soul. and if I am searching for some twin soul or soulmate, then that is my stupidity. Okay, nothing else. First of all, we need to understand that. Second thing, like the all we can say is that some karmic connection can be there between two people. Like I wrote articles on karmic connection series, where I dealt with different things, like not only the boyfriend girlfriend or husband wife kind of thing, but the even the criminal and the victim, or even the criminal and the police person and all. There is a karmic debt involved in every relationship. Okay, that's it. So like if lots of planets are over each other in two charts, if there is a 1-7 relationship or 5-9 relationship between the ascendant, that shows some strong karmic connection between the two people in matters of relationship. Okay, but when the karmic connection is there, one thing is sure, that that relationship won't be the pleasant one. Okay, understand this. Okay, say a lot about, like, okay, these two people can be past life lovers and all. If they are really past life lovers and they are again meeting, then understand that in 90% of cases, it won't be a pleasant relationship. They are here to pay back to each other something. Okay, that's it. Mars in Leo 10th house, Sun in Ardra 8th house, in creative field. How will this communication be? Mars okay, Mars in Leo 10th house, Sun in Ardra 8th house in creative field. Yeah, I think we discussed this before also. Scorpio ascendant, the ascendant lord itself is going into Leo sign in the 10th house, and as it is the sign of creativity. If it is in Purva Falguni Nakshatra, then it is more prominent situation. So that is a possibility of someone gravitating towards creative nature of career and all. The this Sun, 8th lord sitting in the 10th lord sitting in the 8th house, shows whenever this person works in job setup, he will have lots of instability. That means he should be in his own creative work. So for creative nature of career, it is a good combination. Could you please tell about Mahadasha of Saturn in Scorpio? Is all things bad? I really want to be financially rich, as my life has always my family has always criticized me for same. My Jupiter is in Aquarius. Jupiter in Aquarius Dasha is not making me earn money that I deserve. Okay. No dasha is inherently bad or good. I always say that it all depends upon your proactive efforts, your ability to deal with a particular dasha. Okay. Now understand what is happening here is that Saturn is in Scorpio in 12th house. That means it rules the second and the third. Okay. It is a Sagittarius ascendant chart, so Saturn rules the second and the third. So second house is the wealth, and the third house is the business. So this person is getting best wealth in his life through business. If this person is not in business, then he may have an average dasha. But if he wants to get the best wealth in his life, then he has to get into business. Okay, his own business, then only this Saturn dasha can give him good results. Now understand other things also. Saturn remains a malefic planet, so one thing also this person should understand, that he has to put the extra hard work to get any good result. He has to be proactive. He has to be like this in saving mode. Okay, understand, Saturn's third aspect is going into the second house of the wealth. So this person has to be like putting more efforts in making his savings rather than like being a spendthrift. So this is what is important, that just because a planet is placed in some position, it doesn't mean that you are going to have a very good dasha or very bad dasha. How you utilize that energy is upon you. Okay, I always say that in my few articles also I said that everyone who has who has taken birth with Gautam Buddha didn't become Gautam Buddha. Everyone who has taken birth with Ted Bundy didn't become a Ted Bundy. Okay, so how you take that energy, how you exhibit that energy is upon you, is upon your own consciousness level. Okay, everyone who has taken birth along with Sachin Tendulkar didn't become Sachin Tendulkar. They would have expressed the same energy in different way. The day when Sachin Tendulkar was born, I am sure that in Mumbai lots of other kids were born, but they all didn't become Sachin Tendulkar. In that particular 2 hours zone also, the Leo ascendant, which he is, lots of other kids would have taken birth. The like I can give my example. I am told that by my family that when I took birth, in that hospital that night at least 16 other kids took birth. So they all didn't become an astrologer or whatever they are doing in their life. I didn't become that. Okay, so in the end, it is all your efforts, your evolution level, how you deal with that energy. It's upon you. It is not just because of a planetary position is there. How you utilize that energy proactively. Okay, another thing is that I think we should understand this, is that just because it is Saturn, it is Rahu, Mars, and their dasha is coming, we cannot make a generic rule that okay, then this is going to be a bad dasha for me. If you make this generic rule and you approach that dasha like this, then it may be bad. Okay, it is all in your mind. If you think that something is going to be bad, 99% of times it is going to be bad. Okay, so understand dashas, like suppose you are standing on a railway platform. Okay, suppose you are standing on a railway platform and there is a signal. There is a signal which indicates you, which gives you an information that train is coming, so you should not be on the track or nearby the track. Okay, you should clear the track. So understand that train as the event, signal as the dasha. Okay, so these dashas are nothing but signals which are telling you that train is coming, be prepared. Okay, clear the track, stand on at your place. Okay, so that you can take your luggage and all inside the train. So it is not harming you, it is just indicating you. If you are proactive in dealing with the dasha, you can be at right place at right time. But now suppose if you you don't have this dasha system. Okay, that means you don't have that signal. Now also train will come, but you will not have any warning. So utilize this dasha system like this only, that it is just a system of making you more alert, more proactive in your approach rather than being scared about them. Okay, so I am having problems analyzing Jupiter in my chart, Cancer ascendant. Jupiter is retrograde in Libra, 4th house in Navamsha. It is debilitated in Capricorn. Plus Jupiter is functional malefic for Cancer ascendant, so effects should be negative, right? But when I look at Shadbala factors, Jupiter and Sun are having highest strength of all planets. So will it have a negative or neutral effect? Whenever you are trying to understand any planet, okay, uh, the first thing you should know the basic nature of a planet. Basic nature, not functional. Okay, basic nature of a planet, if it is benefic or malefic. Jupiter is a natural benefic planet. Okay, so this gives an idea that okay fine, overall this dasha should be good because Jupiter is a natural benefic planet. Yeah, now Jupiter is in Libra sign, so it is in enemy sign. Libra is ruled by Venus. Venus is enemy to Jupiter because of the mythology. Jupiter is Brihaspati, gods of the gurus. Gurus of the gods, and then Venus is gurus of the demons. Okay, Shukracharya. So there is this enmity, but they both are benefic planet. So now understand a planet in enmity like you are sitting with your enemy, or your enemy has invited you at his home. Okay, how comfortable you will be about it. So like this planets, Jupiter in enemy sign, this as it is a natural benefic planet, it will still give you result, but those results will not be as per your expectations. There will be a sense of frustration. Now it is functional malefic in your chart. It rules the sixth house. So when you are dealing with sixth house related matters like your health issues or your disputes, conflict, it will work like a functional malefic for only sixth house related issues. For ninth house, for fourth house related, all other houses, it is still a natural benefic planet. Okay, now we come to your D10 chart. Sorry, D9, right? In D9 it is in debilitated in Capricorn. Now I don't know whether which ascendant it is in D9. Otherwise I can help you more, but all I can say is that D9 is the chart of your right life path, and Jupiter is knowledge and awareness. As it is debilitated, it shows that person is getting the knowledge and awareness of his right life path with certain delay in life. Okay, with certain hard work and perseverance and frustration. So this is the way to understand any planet. First of all, their basic nature, then the houses they rules, then house where they are sitting, the dignity. This combines that this combination will give you an idea which type of result you can expect. And any dasha, regardless of anything, any dasha will give you some good results, some bad results. There is nothing like only good and only bad. Even Saturn dasha has made people prime ministers and presidents of the country. Even Jupiter dasha, I am going through Jupiter dasha, even I have some frustrations going on in my life. Okay, so nothing like that, that ideal dasha or utopian dasha, nothing like that. Okay, every dasha has good and bad. Yo, seventh lord Venus debilitated in 11th house of Virgo. What will say? Okay, seventh lord Venus is debilitated in 11th house of Virgo. It shows difficulties in relationship matter. This person may suffer, but in wealth matters, especially if this person is in any work related financial nature like a stock market or any financial nature of business or work, this person will prosper. So the debilitation will impact relationship more rather than the money factor. Venus and Mercury in Aquarius in 12th house, Pisces ascendant, Leo moon sign. What is the question? Venus, Mercury in Aquarius in 12th house, Pisces and Leo moon sign. Please ask your questions, because this can indicate many things. What is your question about it? Did you send your question before? No. So please send your question. Traditionally, Jupiter in third house is said to give either wealth or respect. Person will only get money and no respect, or only respect and no money. How far is this true? Is it so? I don't know. Anyways, Jupiter in the third house, Jupiter is knowledge, and third house is teaching, communications. Okay, so as I understand, Jupiter in third house is indicating that if this person gets into the educational things, knowledge sharing kind of things, that type of business where he is guiding and counseling people, this dasha or Jupiter should work well. If this person is not doing that, then he can have an average dasha. Okay. Jupiter in third house, person will only get money and no respect, or only respect and no money. All I can remember is chart of Osho, where Jupiter was exalted in the third house, and he was at a different level. He didn't care whether he is getting money or he is getting some respect. Okay, so that is a different evolution level altogether. Okay. About relationship, Venus Mercury in 12th house in Aquarius, and it is Leo moon sign. Okay, so understand that as moon is in Leo in 6th house. Okay, 6th house, the mind is in conflicts. Okay, you may feel that you are having lots of conflicts in your life and all, or lots of obstacles, and that is the mindset. You may feel that whenever you are going to do anything, it seems that the whole universe is blocking your path. Okay, so this happens with moon in the 6th house. Then Mercury, Venus are in the 12th house. 12th house is the 6th from 7th. So in relationship matters, it can bring lots of obstacles or conflicts. Okay, understand, Mercury is ruling your 6th house and sitting in the 11th house. It is 12th house. Mercury is ruling your 7th house and sitting in the 11th house. 12th house, it is 6th from the 7th. So it is like Mercury is indicating that you can have relationship in foreign lands. Some foreign connection will be there, but that relationship will not give any fulfillment, because 12th house is the house of losses. So you may feel that okay, I got a relationship with this person, but my whatever I expected or desired in relationship, those expectations didn't fulfill, and there is a possibility of any conflict or litigation coming in relationship matters in foreign lands. Traditionally, yes. Okay, thank you. About relationship, during Rahu Dasha, is it good to take debt? Rahu in 12th house with Jupiter in Libra. No, I would say one should always avoid taking debts. Okay. All I can say is that look at your 6th house and 6th house Lord position. Okay. That shows that if you are going to repay your debt in time or before time. Okay, 6th house and 6th house Lord position. Also, you can look at your Ghatni Karka position. That rather than looking at Rahu Jupiter in 12th house, and look at 6th house and 6th house Lord position, Ghatni Karka position. My Venus Dasha will start. Great. Party time. Will start, which is 8th Lord, and placed in Ascendant Exalted. What else you want? It is 8th house energy will activate. Okay. How I can use the Venus Dasha? I am afraid of Venus Dasha because if sudden things can come, how can overcome? In Ketu Dasha also I was faced the sudden things happen in my life. You need not to overcome anything. 8th house is the house of changes, and you need to be receptive towards the changes. Okay, when Venus is ruling your 8th house and sitting in the first house exalted, it shows that whenever a change is coming in your life, be receptive towards the change, because that change is going to be beneficial. Okay, that is what Venus exaltation in the first house is representing. Okay, so I would say, rather than getting worried, just be receptive of this dasha. This dasha can bring you good gains, especially in money related matters, financial matters, and you can make good use of this dasha. But if you are scared, now this is the main thing. Okay, this is what I am trying to say, is that every dasha will activate something or the other. Like I said that I am going through Jupiter Mahadasha. Jupiter is exalted in my chart, but Jupiter is Ghatni Karaka. Okay, so even then Jupiter is having some negative trait. What can I do about it? I have to go through it. Can you stop your dashas? Can you stop your transits? Saturn dasha is coming, Venus dasha is coming, 8th Lord dasha is coming, 6th Lord dasha. Can you stop them by doing anything? Okay, when you cannot stop, then it is better to prepare for them. Okay, that's it. Like I remember that one person said to me that some ex person is very brave, that he has gone through Saturn Dasha. Okay, so I asked if he had any other choice, if he could have stopped Saturn Dasha. Okay, now understand, like if you can stop Saturn Dasha from coming, then I can understand you are very brave. But anyways, you have to go through the Saturn Dasha, you have to go through the 8th Lord Dasha. Then it is better to be prepared for them, be proactive and act accordingly, according to that dasha. Be aligned with your dasha. Okay, flow with the dasha rather than flow against the dasha. Okay, if you are flowing with the dasha, this dasha will be great. Venus is your 3rd and 8th lord. Venus is sitting exalted. Get into your own business. If you are in your own business, best time period. Anyways, this changes will come. I'm not saying that nothing bad is going to happen. I'm not saying that. If good is happening, then bad is also happening. Life is not a homeopathic medicine that only there is no side effect, nothing like that. Every good has some bad attached with it. It is very kind of you to have this kind of discussion with us for free and with so much clarity. Thank you. Please shed light on moon in Anuradha. Is it true Anuradha uses divine knowledge to meet its partner? Again, I'm not sure about partner and all, but Anuradha is related with devotional love. Okay, because it is somewhere connected with Radha and Krishna, and their devotional love, divine love. So when moon is in Anuradha nakshatra, moon is mind, and Anuradha is the nakshatra of devotion and loyalty and divineness. So this person can be very devoted to their partner. Okay, whenever they get into relationship kind of thing, they can be highly devoted to their partner. Okay, also like there is a concept of Vesta in Western astrology. Okay, I recently wrote an article on Natasha McLuhan, the Hollywood actress. Okay, so that will give you an idea, because this asteroid named Vesta has almost similar characteristics like Anuradha. Okay, the devotion and all that. That article may help you. You can find in celebrity horoscope section, Natasha McLean. Then coming back to your moon in Anuradha, all I can say that mind can be highly devotional towards love and relationship. Whenever they get into relationship, they can be highly devotional. It has its positive, it has its negative. If that relationship works out, then it is best thing to happen, because they will remain devoted, committed and loyal to their partnership. They will cling on to that relationship, they will try to sustain that relationship. But if that relationship doesn't work out, it will take years for them to overcome that loss. Okay, it will take years for them to come out of that relationship. Okay, that okay, that relationship didn't work out, they will wait for their partner for years. Okay, that's it. So this is where the difficulty can come up with moon in Anuradha. As I said, there is nothing like total positive, nothing like total negative. We have to accept the both sides. Okay, is it true Anuradha uses divine knowledge to meet its partner? Leave the partner aside. Okay, let's focus on divine knowledge only. We can say that this person can be interested in divine knowledge or devotional knowledge. Okay, one more quick question. My Amatkarka is Saturn and Atmakarka is Sun, and in D9 my Amatkarka is the same but Atmakarka is Mercury. Should I look at all three planets to understand true life path? When you are looking at D1 chart, look at your Saturn and Sun as Sun as Atmakarka, Saturn as Amatkarka. When you are looking at D9 chart, look at your Mercury as Atmakarka and Saturn as Amatkarka. Okay, when you are going towards a particular chart, go completely there. When you are staying in D1, stay completely there. My moon is in Anuradha and I completely agree with this analysis. Thank you. So, right. Okay, any further question? When will COVID situation get better in India? I don't know, sir. I don't watch news, thankfully. And anyways, they are giving so much information, they must be giving this information also. There is another way by which we can look at the dasha factor, like people were asking about their Saturn dasha or Venus dasha. There is a small story which I read many years ago, and I like to post it again and again. And this I like to tell this story again and again, because if you can utilize this story in its spirit, then it tells you the how you can utilize astrology, okay, or any other occult practice, not only astrology, any other occult prediction and all. So this small story is where a king was visited by a monk, and monk gave him two clay idols, okay, two clay idols, and the monk said that any day, if any one of this clay idol get broken, your kingdom will face war within 7 days. Okay, this was the prediction, this was the prophecy given by the monk, that if any of these clay idols get broken, the kingdom will face war within 7 days. So king said, okay, fine. King gave those clay idols to his best servant, telling that make sure that these clay idols never get broken. If they get broken, or and we have to face war within 7 days, we will punish you. Poor servant, what he can do? Okay, so poor guy took the clay idols. He started clay and taking care of them. One day while cleaning, one of the clay idols got broken. So king was informed. King told that, okay, put him in prison, and if something wrong happens, we will punish him. Fifth or sixth day, a war started. Some neighboring kingdom attacked this kingdom. So king told that, okay, present the servant. Okay, so servant was presented in the court. King said that we have decided to give you a death sentence. Do you have anything to say? Servant said that I want to break the second idol also. Okay, servant said that I want to break the second idol also. So king said that I didn't understand what you mean to say. So servant said that basically you never understood what monk wanted to say. And this is the important part, that servant said that war is not happening because of breaking of idol. Breaking of idol is an indication that war is coming. So rather than putting me into prison, you should have started preparing for the war. You had 7 days to prepare for the war. Okay, so these dashas are not bringing events in your life. These Saturn dasha or Mars dasha, or like Venus, the 8th lord dasha, 6th lord dasha, they are not bringing events in your life. Events are coming, they are indicating you to start your preparation. Okay, the whole purpose of astrology or any other occult science, may it be numerology, palmistry, tarot, and anything, is to make you proactive in your approach. Okay, rather than saying that this event is going to happen, we as an astrologer, we should say this event is probable to happen. Now you should start working. If you want that event to happen, start working for it. If you want to stop that event to happen, you should start taking proactive efforts to stop that event. Okay, or at least minimize your losses, mitigate your losses. Okay, so this is the whole purpose of astrology, to make you more proactive in your approach. That's it, nothing else. So unfortunately, we are using for predictions or life events or nothing like that. As I always say that, as I said in this session also, that two people having same chart or same dashas cannot have same life. Even twins don't have same life. Okay, understand it like this. Even twins don't have the same life, don't have the identical life. Even twins born out of the same egg don't have identical life. Okay, identical twins don't have the identical lives. They also have some different things in life as per their evolution level, as per their proactive efforts, and or lack of it, lack of those proactive efforts. So just because your Saturn dasha is starting doesn't mean that your life is going to be screwed. Just because your sixth lord dasha is starting, eighth lord dasha is starting, it doesn't mean that your life will be screwed. It all depends on you at the end of the day, how you utilize that energy. That's it. Okay. Okay, any further question? Okay. Hmm. Does remedies and reciting mantras help? Uh, Again, it is my experience, if I say so, that I tried these remedies for some time, and that sometime was 10 years. So nothing worked in my life. Okay, nothing really worked. But I am ready to accept that I may be the unfortunate person. Okay, so I am not saying that these remedies don't work. I may be the unfortunate one. So it didn't work for me. So I don't come into the way. If you want to, like, I don't recommend anyone to follow any remedy or gemstone. I don't stop anyone also. Okay, my views on remedies and gemstones, I will ping you one article. If you read it, you will understand my views. So that is the thing. But I neither recommend anyone for any remedy or gemstone or any puja or all, but I don't stop either. Okay, because I accept that maybe my luck was not there. Okay, if your luck is there, if you think that any remedy or gemstone or any reciting of mantra can help you, you should do it. Regarding this worship and all, understand, this is also my view. Okay, when you are reciting any mantra, doing any worship, uh, do it without any expectation. Okay, understand what I am trying to say. Do it because you want to do it. Okay, go to temple because you like to go to temple. You go to temple and worship because you like worshiping. The moment we start putting bargains there, that okay, I am doing this for God and God should do this for me, this is bargain, this is bribe. Okay, this is not worship. So this is again my view. Okay, and nothing against you or nothing against anyone. You should, if you want to worship anyway, it is your wish. But then this is what I like to see, that we should do something for only that purpose. Like, I am doing this session every week because I like interacting with people. Okay, that's it, nothing else. That I'm not gaining anything out of it. So this is what I mean to say, that if you want to reciting any mantra, reciting do any worship, do it just for the sake of doing. okay, that you like to do it. That's it, for your own happiness. Okay. Okay, so nakshatra, when people say that your birth nakshatra is important, do they refer to moon's nakshatra or sun's nakshatra or sun? It depends upon the astrologer and his own upbringing, okay, his own teaching from beginning. Because every astrologer has different teachers, okay, and they might have got might have got some learnings from their teachers. Based on that, they are indicating that okay, birth nakshatra is this one. Most commonly, when astrologers use this word, most commonly they say that it is moon nakshatra. They mean to say it is moon nakshatra, but like I prefer ascendant nakshatra more than moon nakshatra, especially when it comes to career related matters. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, sir, for explaining this with such details. I feel is that we should then go with flow and enjoy every moment that life has to offer, rather than diving so much deep into what will happen. Right. Uh, if you take care of today, the tomorrow is already taken care of. Tomorrow is nothing but the result of today. Uh, One of the Osho quotation is that today is the same tomorrow for which you were very worried yesterday. Okay, so आज वही कल है जिसके लिए कल तुम बहुत चिंतित थे. Okay, तो ये एक this is one quotation which I like from Osho. So if you take care of today, then your tomorrow is already taken care, because tomorrow will be the result of today only. So focus on today. Can we feel the increased awareness in the Antaradasha of a planet in own house? Right, we can say so, as it is in good dignity. It can bring more awareness. Own sign, exaltation sign, especially if they are benefic planets like Jupiter, Venus, the spirituality. Ketu can also bring some awareness to the person. So good dignity and their dashas can bring awareness to the person. Also like Atmakarka, Matyakarka Dasha or First Lord Dasha, Ascendant Lord Dasha, that can bring the awareness of your right life path which you should be following. What does it mean to have 2nd, 7th and 11th Lord in 9th house? 2nd, 7th and 11th Lord in 9th house. Right, Mars is 2nd and 7th Lord and Sun is 11th Lord. Both are conjunct in 9th house. Okay. In relationship matters, it may mean that someone can have family or relationship with someone who is of different ethnicity or far away from their birthplace or homeland and all. In career matters, it can represent that someone is having income through higher education, knowledge and guidance, consulting kind of work, and again away from their homeland. But it also means that someone can be totally disconnected from their family lineage. Like 2nd Lord going into the 9th house, it is going 8 places away. That is again Mars in enemy sign Gemini. So it shows that someone can be totally disconnected from their family lineage, the grandfather, uncles and all. There is no connection, or even if there is a connection, it may be very disturbing one. Can we feel the increased awareness? Very true what you said. Thank you. Can we feel the increased awareness in the Antardasha of a planet in a bad dasha especially? Can we feel the increase on the Antardasha of a planet? If a planet is in own sign, then largely that dasha should be good enough. But even if someone is going through a challenging time period, the nothing teaches us than our challenges. Okay, then that's what our best learnings are. Okay, so uh, I learned my best lessons during my Saturn return. Okay, somewhere in 2009-10, that was the best lessons I learned in my life. So even if someone is going through a challenging dasha, challenging transit, if that person is little bit of aware, he is looking at what is happening in his life, it should bring some awareness and it should bring some lessons for lifelong. Sixth lord in the eighth house, Mars Scorpio ascendant, can that to be taken for business? It is losing its dignity, so I will be concerned about it. If I'm guiding this person and if I have this person's whole chart, first of all, then I would recommend that he should not take that. And if he is taking, then he should take it after making all the arrangements. Means even if he is taking let's say 10 lakh rupees debt, he should have an arrangement of 10 lakhs rupees with himself. Then only he should take. Okay, because this is Mars is losing dignity, so maybe the debt is not getting utilized properly, something like that, or person is unable to pay off the debt later on. But again, I don't know the whole chart and whole dasha and all, so it is not final thing which I'm saying, because I don't have chart and dashas and all. Okay. Okay. How much time? Okay, I think we are done. Let me know if there is any further question within next 2 minutes, otherwise I will close it. Okay, fine. I think no other questions, so we should close. Have a nice remainder of Sunday. Enjoy and be safe. Take care. All the best.